Hello, 7th graders. In lesson 9.2, we are going to learn about the area of circles. Now, we're going to use pi again because it's a circle calculation. But just like we did with circumference, before I give you the formula, we're going to explore a little and see if we can figure it out ourselves. So you use a compass to draw a circle here. We're not actually going to do that. Luckily, they drew a circle for us. So we're just going to look at the pictures. All right, so step 1, it says, use a compass to draw a circle. Well, look, they have their circle right there. Fold the circle 3 times as shown, and unfold and shade 1/2 of the circle. So we shaded 1/2, there we go. That's the blue is shaded 1/2. Cut out the wedges, fit the pieces together to form a figure that looks like a parallelogram. Remember, a parallelogram has 2 sets of parallel lines. It's kind of like a sideways rectangle or like a slanted rectangle. And to find the area of a parallelogram, it's still base times height. So it's still this length, but instead of measuring the slanted length, you're just measuring the height. Okay, so the base and height of the parallelogram relate to the parts of a circle. The base is technically made up of this distance, which is half of the distance around the circle, which is half the circumference. So the base is 1/2 of the circumference, or pi r, because remember the circumference was pi d, which is the same as 2 pi r. So if it's half of 2 pi r, it's just pi r. All right, and now the height is the radius, because the height is the same as the distance from the outside to the inside of the circle, or from the circle to the center. So the height is the radius of the circle, or r. So to find the area of the parallelogram, we do base times height, which is going to be pi r times r. And notice they broke that down here. So substitute pi r for the base and substitute r for the height. So the area of a circle is going to be pi r squared. That's the area of a circle. And an important thing to have written in your notes. All right, example 1. A biscuit recipe calls for the dough to be rolled out and circles to be cut from the dough. The biscuit cutter has a radius of 4 centimeters. Find the area of the top of the biscuit once it is cut. Okay, so this is just a really long word problem. What it's asking is the area of a circle that has a radius of 4. So we're going to set up our area formula. Area equals pi r squared. The radius of the biscuit is 4 centimeters, so we're going to plug in 4 for r. And we're going to use 3.14 for pi. So 3.14 times 4 squared. We know 4 squared is 16. 3.14 times 16, that's where you could just enter it into a calculator. That's going to be 50.24. So the area of the biscuit is about 50.24 centimeters squared. All right, so what would happen if we tried to find the area and we're given the diameter instead of the radius? So when we have the radius, we can just plug it into pi r squared. And we know the diameter is twice the radius. So if we were given the diameter, we would just have to plug in, we would have to find the radius first, or we could just say half of the diameter squared. So I would recommend just finding the radius first by cutting the diameter in half, or if you really want to plug it into an equation, plug in half of the diameter. Okay, so why do you evaluate the power in the equation before multiplying by pi? Because PEMDAS. Exponents come before multiplication. All right, your turn. A circular pool has a radius of 10 feet. What is the area of the surface of the water in the pool? So you're just plugging in r for 10. All right, go ahead and solve that. Pause the video. Play it back, see if you got it right. This is going to end up being 3.14 times 100, which is 314 feet squared. All right, so knowing that area equals pi r squared, I want you to complete numbers 1 through 3 on page 274 for the homework today. All you're doing is plugging in that number. So if we're doing number 1, that's the diameter, so we have to find the radius first. Remember, the diameter is twice the radius. So if we're given the diameter, to find the radius, you're going to find half of the diameter. So number 1, the diameter is 14, so the radius is going to be 7. So for number 1, you're going to plug in, I need some room to write, area equals pi r squared, the radius is 7, pi is 3.14, 7 squared. Remember to do the exponent first, so 7 times 7 times 3.14.